Good morning. Welcome to the First Religious Society Unitarian Universalist in Newburyport, Massachusetts. My name is Dawn Pelletier, and I am your worship associate this morning. We come together as a church community, online and in person, committed to love, peace, and justice. Our core values are authentic connection, courageous action, love, spirituality, and wonder. Our mission and our invitation to all of you is to come as you are, journey together in love, transform our world. If you are visiting today or joining us for the first time, welcome. We are glad you are here. If you would like to access this morning's order of service, please click on the link in the chat. I would like to draw your attention to the many events and activities going on here that are listed in our order of service. Another important thing to share this morning is that we will be welcoming the Missouri family next week. The family of 11 are Afghan refugees who will be living temporarily in our parish hall. Thank you to all the many members and friends who are working so hard to make this possible. We know this is just the beginning of an important journey we are embarking on as a congregation. It is no small thing that we have gathered today, so let us celebrate our time together. I welcome one and all to our church and our worship service. Thank you. It is good to be together.
It is indeed good to be together. Our call to worship this morning are words taken from Reverend Nathan Ryan out of a piece entitled A Renewed Hope for This World. Be it real or metaphor, whatever you've brought into this time that is weighing you down, leave it behind. Whatever you are carrying that is keeping you distracted or caught up in shame, guilt, or worry, leave it behind. If you need it, it will be there when we're done. But for this hour, just this hour, let it go. Come into this place with open hearts. Come into this place with a soul that has remembered how to be tender again. Come into this place with a renewed hope for this world. Come into this place ready to build a world that we've always been worthy of and have always dreamed of. You are faithfully called to worship. Please join now in saying our chalice lighting words as I then light the chalice. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. Each week, we also light 2 candles of peace, representing 2 places on earth that we lift up and remember as a sacred encounter with our world. We know that there are untold numbers of places on earth that need peace. These two we especially hold close in this service and through the week ahead. After each candle is lit, I invite you to speak the words for peace in English, Arabic, and Hebrew. Peace, salam, shalom. Our first candle this morning is lit for Washington, D.C. and our entire country as we have passed what was a one-year anniversary of the January 6th incident at our Capitol. As we hold the belief and the faith in democracy in our hearts, in our lives, and in our actions, we pray for the well-being, safety, and continued work of this in our country. And our second candle this morning is also lit for our country as we continue in creating racial equity, in creating a world where all people are held accountable equally for their actions and are equally given opportunities. Where this week,
mute my audio.
Ahmaud Arbery's killers were in fact sentenced to life imprisonment for killing of a 25-year-old Black young man. Peace, salam, shalom. And we'll now join together in our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered.
Here we have gathered side by side. Circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of a lifetime, matters small and great. We of all ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us as we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
And let us join together now the words for our affirmation of faith and doxology. Love is a doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine, Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
From all that dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, good, and truth be sung through every land by every tongue.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary McDonald, and I am running a food drive in January through the Community Human Services and in cooperation with Young Church. Last year, we did the same thing. It was pretty successful. It was for the Newbury Food Pantry. Today, we've brought the director of the Newbury Food Pantry, Jane Marrow, to speak to us about her organization, what they're doing, all the very exciting things they have going on in their organization. And afterward, in the coffee hour, you can ask questions about how you can participate in this food drive. I'm going to turn it over to Jane now to speak to you.
Thank you so much for having me today. Again, my name is Jane Marrow, and I'm from the First Parish Newbury Food Pantry. It started out a little over 6 years ago, a mission of the First Parish Church in Newbury. We started out and we had one guest come the first week, and from there it grew. And when just before the pandemic hit in March of 2020, we were serving about 150 people each week. And once the pandemic hit, we immediately jumped to 300. We had to change everything week by week, which I feel like we had from the beginning. We had to develop a delivery service because a lot of the people that were coming to us were coming through the Council on Aging buses. And once the pandemic hit, they no longer had that transportation resource. We also had to develop an online ordering system. So now all of our orders are done online, either by the individual, or if some people like myself aren't real comfortable with the computer, we have 17 volunteers that call over 115 people every single week. It's also like a well check. And what they do is they run through all the items that we have that week so that people can choose what they want. And then the caller would enter those things into our system. We generally have between 200 and 300 items on our menu or grocery list each week. Right now, we make well over 100 deliveries every Friday morning. We're only open one day a week, and that's Friday. So it's between 100 and 120 individual deliveries. And then in the afternoon, people that have their own transportation are given a set time. So they come to the pantry, they have their name on a card and they just put it up in the window. They pop their trunk and we put the food into their trunk because everything is ordered ahead of time. We were originally in the library of the First Parish Church, and then we moved into the sanctuary on pantry days. And when the pandemic hit and services went to Zoom, we took over the entire church. We had literally food on every single pew, and our order sheet went according to how things were laid out. So to make it more efficient, because we have volunteer shoppers that put orders together. We moved on June 26th to a garage on Hanover Street in Newbury that was generously donated to us by the Anderson family in Newbury. We're there temporarily until we can build our own building, which will be right behind the First Parish Church of Newbury at 20 High Road. And we've been raising funds, and tomorrow we'll announce that we have met our goal. And actually the materials for the building are going to be delivered tomorrow. The foundation's all in. It's very, very exciting. So we're hoping to be in there, I would say, within the next 2 months. Some of the things that we have at the food pantry every week is fresh milk, eggs, toilet paper, which is a staple, and ground beef. And if I don't have those items, then I will go and purchase them at local grocery stores. We also have cheese, frozen fruit, beef, pork, fish, chicken, along with canned vegetables. We have frozen vegetables, frozen soup, paper towels, breads, sweets. We also have pet food because we've joined with the Newbury Elder Pet Fund, because people's pets are also their family and they would rather feed their pets than themselves. So we felt that if we could provide the pet food, if they had a little extra funds, they could get the extra necessities they needed. We're right now serving well over 300 people a week. It's more like 350 to 380 people a week. About 50% of the people we serve are from Newburyport, about 25 from Newbury. We also serve West Newbury, Salisbury, Ipswich, Rowley, some Amesbury, and we've recently taken on Georgetown. And one of the things we try to be really friendly with everyone, and we don't ask for specific identification or verification of finances. If you tell us you need food, then we're going to give you food. We've never turned anyone away. If you're outside of the area we're serving and you come the first time, we're certainly going to give you food, or if you've ordered online, and then may help you to be redirected to a pantry closer to you. Mary, do you have any questions for me? I want to say I want to say we are 100% volunteer. I think that's really important to know. We've probably got 150 active volunteers right now. It takes at least 85, if not more, every week, because the pantries, even though it's only opened on Friday, all 7 days of the week, activities are going on, be it ordering food from Greater Boston Food Bank, or picking it up at local stores, or when people want to make a donation, receiving donations on Thursday from 9:30 to 1 is when we would prefer if anyone wants to drop anything off. But it takes an awful lot of people, especially with all the deliveries. People are using their own cars, their own gasoline. No one gets paid at our pantry. And historically, 95 cents of every dollar donated went to buy food or personal care items. And right now, of course, we've got this building fund going on, but still, pretty much.
That's very good.
Go ahead, Mary.
So you're always looking for more volunteers, I'm assuming.
We are always, and there's lots of different ways that people can help. As I say, we have people that make phone calls if you're not physically able to lift. We get 2 big deliveries every month, and then 2 smaller deliveries during the larger deliveries. We need more hands to bring the food in. We actually got a 7,000-pound delivery this past Friday. We canceled the pantry because of the weather, but still we're fortunate to get that delivery of food.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Also, having been there a few times, I would say it's a very congenial group of people. You will not have a bad time working at the Newbury Food Pantry. Yes, I think the only other question is, are there any particular things that you are or are not interested in having donated?
Right now, it's really difficult for us to have clothing. When we were at the church and when we get to the new pantry, once people can come inside again, it would be a little easier for people to select that. We have scarves, hats, and mittens that Belleville has donated and several knitting groups have made. And we can put those on our grocery lists, but other than that, it's really hard for us, and we don't have much storage where we are now either. And as far as the food drives, what we ask is that you just let us tell you what we most need at that time, because they do change from time to time. And so, I can talk with you after about what would be the most needed items at that time too.
Terrific. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And we are delighted to work with you once again. It's
Thank you.
such a, it's local. It's a very efficient organization, and you make it very easy for us to help you. So that's wonderful. All right, thanks. And we'll be answering more questions at coffee hour.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Mary. So many ways to get involved. So this is a time in our service when the offering will be gratefully received. The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of the church, both in Newburyport and beyond. Each week, 50% of the Sunday offering, not designated as a pledge, goes to a local community partner engaged in important efforts to transform our region. The January collection supports Community Service of Newburyport, which supports a food pantry, clothing, emergency relief, and referral services for people in need in Newburyport, Newbury, and West Newbury. In addition, they run the holiday gift bag program for children and seniors. And in the summer, provide 2 weeks of summer camp for deserving children. If you would like to make a contribution, please use the link in your order of service. You can also make a contribution by text. And of course, you can always mail a check to the church as well.
We'll move now into the time each week where we lift up the joys and the sorrows of our beloved faith community. Tom Himmel, our pastoral care associate, will be lighting candles this morning as I share those that have been sent to me in advance. You can always email me a joy or a sorrow or send it to betweenus@frsuu.org. I think we're going to be pulling Tom up here. Here we go. Great. Okay. This morning we light a candle of sorrow from R.J. Shapiro, who writes about a couple, Thayer and Anita Green. Thayer had been a Congregationalist minister for many years, and they were married 75 years before passing away, just weeks of each other's death, and the first in the other's arms. We light a candle for their blessed memory and for the love that sustains us all. Stan Barrett and Leslie Lawrence ask for our prayers for their neighbor and friend Charles, who recently suffered his second stroke in under a year and who is now undergoing inpatient rehab. Please also hold his wife Jen in our hearts. We also light a candle of concern for a long time and dear friend of Stan Barrett, Brian Murphy. Brian seems to be near the end of a year-long struggle with glioblastoma. Brian is a gentle, creative man, and he has been lovingly cared for over these months by his ex-wife Lori, her partner, family members in Maine and elsewhere, and nearby friends, but has recently entered a facility. Let's hold Brian and Lori in our hearts and prayers, as well as their teenage children, Cecilia and Soren, and their friends and family. This morning, we also light a candle of thanks, a candle of joy, for the incredible coming together of community as we're preparing to welcome this Afghan family this week. It has been remarkable. And we light a candle this week, as we do each week, for all of the unspoken joys and sorrows, some of which I know personally, that though not shared publicly are held in just as much love and concern and care. I'll offer a prayer this morning extemporaneously, and before I do, or as I begin, I wanted to share a few quotes from Albert Schweitzer, for whom these flowers were lovingly dedicated by Dorothy Fairweather this morning and Howard. A remarkable man, a remarkable person who understood the power of love, the interconnected web of life of which we are all a part. And to start our prayer, I'll offer 3 quotes from him. He said, "The tragedy of life is what dies inside a person while they live." Example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. An optimist is a person who sees a green light everywhere, while a pessimist sees only the red stoplight. As we move into this prayer, I wanted to start also by naming, acknowledging, and thanking the multitude of people who are coming together to prepare our parish hall. Spirit of life, of love, of community. Bless these people who make up this first religious society. Bless these people who I am coming to know and to love in deeper and deeper ways. With each passing initiative, challenge, success, decision. Bless those who care for those of us in the congregation, those who prepare meals, those who write notes, the friends, the pastoral care associates, those who pay visits, make phone calls, drive others to doctor's appointments. Bless each and every one of those nearly 100 people who help us care for one another. Bless those who make up the extended and deep and rich community outreach that we do. the funds that are gathered, the food that is collected, the work that is being done to prepare Parish Hall, all those who have donated things, who have cleaned kitchen cupboards, who've donated items, who've cleaned closets, cleaned rugs. Bless those in the community that are not even part of this congregation who are coming forward with gifts. The plumbers who are donating showers and the contractors who are creating designs. The carpenters. The stores who are donating everything from showers to water heaters to beds. Bless those who focus on the communications of the congregation, who work to help us all know what is going on every week the best they can. Those who edit and proofread and work behind the scenes. Bless all of those who serve in leadership roles, who make hard decisions, who take risks, who say no, who say yes, who say shall we. Spirit of life and of love and of community. It is so rich and deep, the many ways that people belong. May each and every one of these people know they are loved, they are appreciated, they are seen, they are known, they are needed. Amen.
Stand by this faith. A reading by Reverend Olympia Brown. Stand by this faith. Work for it and sacrifice for it. There is nothing in all the world so important as to be loyal to this faith, which has placed before us the loftiest ideals, which has comforted us in sorrow, strengthened us for noble duty, and made the world beautiful. Do not demand immediate results, but rejoice that we are worthy to be entrusted with this great message, that you are strong enough to work for a great, true principle without counting the cost. Go on finding ever new applications of these truths and new enjoyments in their contemplation, always trusting in the one mystery and grace that surrounds and upholds us.
Oh, I can see myself in my mascara. Sorry, everyone. So this month we're focusing on Unitarian Universalism. Last week we began a study of the sources of our faith. This week we move into a study of the principles of our faith. Many of you may be very familiar with our principles. Some of you perhaps are just learning them, and we're going to hear this morning about not only the 7 principles that have been our guiding compasses since 1984, and obviously in reality much longer than that, but also an 8th principle that is under consideration. The way we've decided to do this today was by creating a video, and we'll actually be posting this video on the website as well, or you could share it with folks who want to understand more about what is this Unitarian Universalism. We'll watch the video together and then go into breakout rooms for 5 minutes at the end, just to have a brief conversation about some of the questions that are being posed in this video. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my beloved daughter, Ginger, who on her last day here visiting from California, traipsed around Newburyport with me to record these videos. So enjoy, everyone, and we'll be back together in just a few minutes. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition founded on covenant and promises that we make to one another. Ours is not a religion based on creed or dogma. Instead, we follow and seek to affirm and to work toward 7 principles, potentially soon to be 8, that we dedicate our lives to and that we use as guides in our decisions and our daily lives. I hope in this video that you'll get a brief introduction to each of them and also ponder a question that accompanies each principle. Our first principle is that we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We believe that everyone is born worthy and that it is not based upon their deeds. This stems from our religious forebearers who believe that all people had the light of God or goodness born within them. Who is it difficult for you to connect with their inherent worth and dignity? And what can you begin to do to change that? Our second principle is justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We believe that the way to change and to resolution of differences and conflict is through having increased understanding, creating equitable conditions, and experiencing compassion, extending compassion in all of our relationships. Here in our fellowship hall, that happens both within our congregation and beyond our walls as we prepare to welcome for temporary housing an Afghan family of refugees. Compassion. When have you witnessed, been the beneficiary of, or been a part of the transforming power of compassion in human relations? Our third principle is the acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. Religious pluralism, theological diversity, and recognition of the value of that rich, rich diversity of belief and of thought, of life experience, the differences of all of who we are and accepting those things, embracing them. We value diversity. We support one another in our faith journeys and in all of life's ups and downs. What practices or connections help you deepen your spiritual development and connections and relationships here at FRS? Our fourth principle is a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We believe that there are many paths to truth, and that it is each individual person's right and privilege to find their path. This is a lifelong process for all of us. It is a search that is as much about the questions and the process as it is about ever necessarily finding the one right answer. How do you incorporate learning, ongoing learning, into your spiritual development and your faith journey? How do you do it in a way that allows you to continue to grow, to deepen, and to become who it is that you are striving to be? Our fifth principle is the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. As Unitarian Universalists, we act on our beliefs and we work to hear and learn from everyone's voices. We employ the use of the democratic process in terms of discernment, deliberation, and decision-making within our congregation, in our families and other organizations of which we are a part, and we support the health of the democratic process in our society. Whose voice is missing in your life or thought process? Do you need to extend your own voice and participation more in a democratic process? Or do you need to listen more and allow others to step forward? Our sixth principle is the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all and for all people. As overwhelming as this world can be with all of the various issues that are going on and so many needs to be addressed, we still believe that it matters what we do and how we choose to invest and spend our time and our talents. We do all that we can to create a world that is built on a foundation of peace and freedom and justice for all people. How do you put your passion for justice and world peace into action? Our seventh principle is respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. We know that our actions affect the earth and all sentient beings, people, animals, and plants, nearby and across the globe. This has most recently been reinforced and experienced by the COVID pandemic. We know that how we live our lives does not just impact ourselves, but indeed it does affect all of reality of which we are a part. What pains you about the conditions that are facing our earth? And what steps are you taking to turn your pain into good purpose and use? And in addition to our 7 principles adopted in 1984, there is an 8th principle project that is underway, which some congregations have already voted to approve and to affirm as a part of their principles, and that our entire association will consider at some point in the near future. The 8th principle project states, "We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions." The BLUU, Black Lives Unitarian Universalists, write, "Beloved community happens when people of diverse racial, ethnic, educational, class, gender, abilities, sexual orientation, backgrounds, and identities come together in an interdependent relationship of love, mutual respect, and care that seeks to realize justice within the community and in the broader world." How is your life being positively affected by the work our congregation and the Unitarian Universalist Association are doing for racial justice and to create the beloved community? I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the principles of Unitarian Universalism, and that you will take the time to reflect upon these questions and develop your own ways of assessing and seeing how you can apply these principles in your daily lives and throughout all that you do. My friends, none of us will ever arrive, and it is not about perfection, but indeed it is about working towards progress and working to affirm and promote these principles in our lives.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance.
Please join now in our unison benediction while Dawn extinguishes our chalice. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always. My friends, as we go from this sacred space made holy by our gathering, made holy by our coming together, made holy by who we are as one community, may the love of this church, this spiritual home, this gathering of friends and family sustain us. May it give us hope when we are down. May it fulfill us with strength when we are tired. May it let us know we are never alone. The work we do together matters, makes a difference, that no one need ever do this by themselves. Go in peace, my friends. Return again in great joy. Amen and blessed be.